It's Vanessa with Colorado's Pride, Gane Corsos. And today I have a very special guest joining me from Castle Rock. This is Jason Bills, everybody. And today we're going to be talking, we're going to be talking about his beautiful pack, which is Zeta and Kai. So welcome, Jason. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope I can offer some insight. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Yes. So first off, let's hit it straight off the back. Tell me all about Zeta and Kai. Kai is relatively new to your pack, yes?
Yeah, they're actually both fairly new. My wife and I have, for the most part, been boxer families for many, many years.
Okay.
And I know you mentioned you used to be a
Mm-hmm.
boxer fan yourself, and probably
Mm-hmm.
still are.
Yes.
I've just always loved the breed and the personality of those dogs. And recently, I've been exposed. I've seen a couple of Corsos around whether at parks or what have you, and I just started to become interested in the breed. I think they're beautiful, they're
Mm-hmm.
strong, powerful, and I've heard so much good things about their personality and their temperament and how they, despite their size and sometimes their look, they're such great family pets. And really, for us, it's all about having a great family pet and a companion. And so I really started looking, and my wife knew I was interested, and she got Zeta for me for Christmas, actually, this last Christmas. So
This last Christmas? Okay.
yeah. So Zeta's only 11 months old.
Oh,
Uh,
very
and
cool.
at the time, my wife kind of stumbled into a couple in eastern Colorado that had two
Mm-hmm.
Corsos, and was bringing the litter in and had advertised somewhere. So she got a non-professional version of breeding scenario there, but one of the
Mm-hmm.
best, probably still to this day, the best dog we've ever had in the first
Mm-hmm.
11 months that we've had her. She was
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and she
Mm-hmm.
still is. And because of that, we were like, I absolutely want to get a companion for her and another one. And
Careful, that's how you end up with 5 like me.
yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, I will say I have 3 daughters, but 2 of them are older, and one's married. They both moved out, and our
Uh-huh.
youngest daughter, who's a junior in high school, has just gone on to New Hampton for hockey and schooling. So we're
Oh,
kind
very
of
cool.
like empty nesters here. So
Yeah.
I think we're filling our need of chaos by
Mhm.
adding some puppies to the mix. And so Kai, we just got about a month ago. He's a little over 11 weeks, uh,
Okay, very good.
and with him, we went a little different route and went from a breeder that we had done a little bit of research on the
Mhm.
western slope. And I think you're probably familiar with Castle Guard King kind of Corsos.
Yep, yep.
So we went with them and went through the process of making sure we were the right fit
Yep.
and also finding the right dog. And it was a little more of a serious process with her and making sure
Mhm.
she's getting her pups to the right kind of owners.
Yeah.
And our it's perfect for us because of the two together being able to offer a little bit of play and a little bit of companionship themselves. Our boxer is on kind of her last legs here. She's an old pup, but a
Aw.
great dog, and we thought it would be great to sort of bring these two in, learn from her because she behaves so well and is such a great dog, and sort of get an idea as to what it's like, but
Mhm.
also have each other as they grow.
So, Zeta is female, and she's 11-ish months old,
Yeah, 11 months
and
old, and Kai is male and 11
male.
weeks.
Gotcha,
So we're
gotcha. Very cool.
about 8 months apart.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I will say that I definitely agree with the whole you get one and it's addicting and you immediately want another.
Yeah,
Most Cane Corso owners that I've spoke with have said this is, I mean, and have had other breeds like boxers. I've had several different large dogs in my life, but honestly, none like a Cane Corso. So,
yeah,
the majority of people who have Cane Corso will say exactly that. Like they change your heart and your world forever. So
yeah.
it's
It's being dog families, and again, I love the boxer breed, and quite
right.
honestly, we got into the pair of dogs at all times with the boxers because of their energy and being
Hmm.
so high strung and so much energy for the first couple of years. And I always thought it was just the best way to do it. And
Right.
so that being said, the Cane Corsos behave much differently. But I absolutely love Zeta and the way she's developed, and it looks as though Kai has a very similar personality. So I'm starting to,
Mm-hmm.
early on in my exposure to him, realize I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a breed thing. That it's not
Yeah,
everyone I've come in contact with has been that way, and we really enjoy it.
that's awesome. So who's more alpha, would you say, Zeta or Kai?
Well, I think clearly because of the age right now and how young Kai is, Zeta is definitely more alpha. Um,
Okay.
she's very jealous and protective of us, but not in a way that's mean or
Yeah,
vicious
yeah,
in
no,
any
they're
way
guardian
toward
breed.
Kai.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, if we're loving him up, she'll come right in between us, and
Yep.
she's very much like a feline almost. She's almost like a cat.
Yes.
She
Yes.
when we come home, she goes in between our legs,
Yep.
rubs up against us, and uses her head and nudges us a
Yeah.
lot to get attention. And then if she doesn't get enough attention or she's really happy, she grabs a hold of us with her mouth. She's a very mouthy
Yeah.
dog.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yep.
Sometimes not real. I think she thinks she's a lap dog or a
Oh,
small
they
dog with
definitely
the
do.
strongest
They
mouth.
all definitely do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I think as Kai gets older and bigger, because Zeta's a fairly small female, she's only about 85
uh-huh.
pounds right now, 80, 85. And I don't expect her to get much more than that as she fills out maybe 90, 95.
Okay.
Um, but I think Kai's going to be a big boy, and he's very calm, very
Mhm.
subdued, very mellow.
Mhm.
But he knows how to let her know when he's had enough or
Right.
wants something or wants some attention. So I think they'll even out as he gets a little bigger and older.
Well, in my pack, Gaia is the oldest, and she's definitely the alpha. And Zeus turned out to be a beast. He's like 150 pounds, 160 when he gets a little bit overweight. Um, and even so, Gaia being smaller, she's like 110.
Yeah.
She's still very much like, no, I'm the boss.
Yeah, and
And
part of
she
that
lets everybody
probably
else
has to
know.
do with age, right? She was in the house first. So it's her
Yeah.
place. They're all
I
coming in.
think it's her personality too.
Yeah,
I think she's got that, Corsos have that like stoic regalness about them.
yeah.
And Zeus is this like giant goofball. There's nothing stoic or regal about him.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Kai's personality develops. Right now, he's still a big,
Baby.
lazy, goofy, sleepy puppy,
Yeah.
but he's starting to get a little more coordinated, a little more active, and a little more
Mhm.
energetic. The two of them are inseparable. They play nonstop, and she's learned how to be a little more patient and subtle with him because I mean he's growing so fast. But when we first got him, he was only I think about 25 pounds. He's like 45,
Right. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy. In a very short period of time, he's gained quickly. So
I know. It's fast.
yeah,
So what kind of food do you guys do? Do you guys do raw, regular kibble?
that's a great question. I don't know if I'm the standard sort of. We don't have the standard issues, but our female Zeta, she is by far the pickiest eater I've ever been around. So it's
Mhm.
been very difficult to find food that she likes, and we've tried it
Mhm.
all. Everything from every kibble you can think of, highest
Mhm.
quality to mixes
Mhm.
uh, to freshly cooked meals to raw
Mhm.
to you name it. We've gone through them all, and where we are right now with her is a mix between she's kind of, as a kibble perspective, it's a mix between some kibble, but it came with it's what Kai used and what the
Okay.
breeder used for Kai, and she just seemed to really love it.
Uh-huh.
I ordered that kibble in, and then we mix it with freshly cooked chicken breast, and
Yes.
that's about the best we can do to get her to eat any meal within an hour to 3 hours. So if we sit her down for breakfast with the other dogs around, if I don't guard it, they'll end up
The
eating
other ones will eat it.
because she's a picker.
A
She just
grazer.
comes by, yeah, grazers
Mhm.
comes by, takes a little bit, and Froms is by the way is the name of that dry dog food. So
Oh, yes. From's is a very, very good brand.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So she likes it and the quality's good. So that's kind
yeah.
of what we've been doing is mixing that. And because
Yeah.
that's what we do for her, we're actually doing that with Kai as well. So he's got
Okay.
kind of a mix of what he's used to with the kibble and then the chicken breasts. And so we've definitely tried it all:
Yeah.
beef, liver, chicken, pork, ground, fresh, raw.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this is where we think we are so far the best for them. And it
Hmm.
seems to work good for their digestion, seems to keep my yard a little better looking than some of the other stuff. And hopefully, I don't have to
Yeah.
too much anymore.
My Gaia is definitely the pickiest of the bunch. So we kind of went on what she liked, and thankfully everybody else just followed suit. And we do the same thing. I don't like raw personally for a couple different reasons,
Yeah,
but
I didn't want to go that route, but I also wanted to make
yeah,
sure. Hey, so luckily,
right.
we settled on something else.
Yeah. And we do the same thing. We do a ton of cooked protein, beef, chicken, pork. Gaia doesn't like fish, but the other ones do. So
Okay.
for their coats, I give the other
Yeah,
ones, like
Zeta
if I
doesn't
have,
like fish either.
isn't that so
We'll
weird?
add some mixed vegetables into the mix.
Yeah.
Zeta, as long as it's fairly fresh and cooked, she likes broccoli. She likes green beans, peas, carrots. So we'll sometimes add that into the mix.
Nice.
But the more we can stick to the higher quality kibble combined with a really fresh protein, we get her to eat a little bit faster. And I've
Well,
never ever
yeah,
had a dog like that, so I imagine, like you said, the rest of your dogs are fine with anything. I think Kai would be fine with anything, and our boxers have always been, we have to
fine
slow
with
them
whatever.
down as opposed to speed them up.
Yeah. It's so funny how they all have their own personalities and likes and dislikes and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that good stuff. So, on your Instagram, I've been a follower for some time now, and I
yeah.
know that
See, I
you
follow
guys
you.
work. Well, thank you. I know you guys work really hard on socialization and, making sure. I mean, temperament has a lot to do with genetics, but it's also in my opinion, has more to do with early socialization and, making sure you expose them to anything and everything. So tell me about what kind of stuff you guys do.
Well, with these two in particular, and starting with Zeta, we've gone out of our way, and I in particular have gone out of my way where she goes everywhere we go if it's
Mhm.
possible, right?
Mhm.
A lot of times we have to work our schedule around them when it comes to lunch or
Mhm.
dinner or whatever to say, hey, do they have a patio? And nowadays, if they, in Colorado, as you know, it's a very dog friendly state, and any place that has a
Mhm.
patio is going to welcome your pet.
Yes.
But I just wanted them to be, you know, we, I guess we learned a valuable lesson with a pair of boxers that we had that were the first dogs I'd ever had, which weren't really good with people,
Mhm.
other dogs in particular. They were fine with people, but a lot of chaos, a lot of people around, a lot of activity, and outside of the house, they just didn't behave as well as I would
Mhm.
like them to. And I never wanted that to happen again. So with these two, and since then, we've been really good about getting the pets out there and the dogs in front of as many people as possible, and allowing people to approach them. And anybody who asks, I'm as proud of the dogs as I can be. So anybody who asks, I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely, come on in, get in here.
Yeah.
It's good for
Yep.
them. We've had our concerns with dog parks in the past, uh,
Yes.
but
Yes.
there's some good ones here in Colorado that are really,
Yes.
you know, awesome open space areas. We
Uh-huh.
coincidentally, with bringing Z into the house as the weather started to warm up after the holidays, and then coronavirus hit and everything, I was home a lot, and so was my wife, and
Mhm.
we went almost daily out on different trails and hikes, and just
Yeah.
getting them out there to see other people and other dogs. And so I've found that it's made Zeta that much better of a dog, and so we're
Mhm.
following the same sort of path with Kai, and trying to get him out as much as possible as well, because I want him comfortable in the car. I want him comfortable,
Mhm.
at my on a leash at my side, or at dinner laying down next to us, or what have you. So I just
Mhm.
want to make sure that mainly they're comfortable, because that has a lot to do with behavior. I'm not, I want them partially trained, but I'm not going
Right.
through the rigors of really detailed, super duper hardcore training with them or
Mhm.
anyone else doing it. I did, because I feel like if they're calm and cool and collected in all sorts of situations, they'll be
They go
behaved.
by your lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they go by your lead. I agree. We do some training, but we do it ourselves. And so, what I mean by that is just the basic command training. And more than anything, just for us to be able to keep the chaos down a little bit.
Yeah.
The one thing we struggle a lot in our house, even still, is when people come over, all five of them want to rush at the same time.
I can
And I
only,
know how to,
yeah,
yeah,
no, I know what it's like with two of them. And again,
yeah,
like I said, when we walk in the door, Z at her size, again, only being 85 pounds
yeah,
is a lot to handle when she's so
yeah,
excited. And
yeah,
so if she ever jumped on a small kid or something of that sort, it scares me,
mhm,
you know. So
yeah,
part of that will come with age as she mellows.
yes,
But yeah,
definitely,
the basics of sit, come, you know,
yes,
stay
yes,
and place and off
yes,
are the
exactly.
biggies we pay attention to. But she's also the first dog where we've, I think, gotten so attached to her that we've bent our own rules.
Yep.
So she's allowed
Mhm.
on the couch with us. She's allowed in
Mhm.
bed with us.
Mhm.
Or never in my wildest dreams would my wife have ever allowed that in the past. But
Same.
she loves these dogs more than anybody. So,
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, absolutely. You know, they're short-haired dogs for the most part. They don't shed a ton unless you
Yeah,
got
it's not too bad.
issues. So they've been great, and neither one of ours are big slobberers either. And the one thing they can't
Yeah.
do is hold water in their mouth when they're done drinking. They produce a flood everywhere. But other than that, they're fairly clean dogs. So
Yeah,
it's
they
nice.
really are. They really are. And as long as you have them on a good, you know, protein rich type of food, you know, and I don't want to say good meaning expensive. Good doesn't mean expensive.
No,
You know, quality food.
yeah, well, we
Um,
learned, you know, in going through all of those different foods with Zeta, trying to find
yeah.
something like we knew when a food affected her the wrong way, not just her stomach, but
Yeah.
if if she had an allergy to it or something, she would shed, and
Not
they're
only
not
that, but they
prepared.
smell. You know
Yeah,
that like stinky dog smell?
yeah.
That has to do with, a lot with the food. So
I
when
said,
you're
okay,
talking about like letting her be on the furniture because she's clean, it really does make a difference, you know, feeding the higher quality food.
yeah,
They don't smell, their breath doesn't smell, like it's
yeah,
totally different, you know. So
yeah.
yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that as well. Did either of your two have any of the typical Cane Corso health issues? I know you said your second one was from Castle Guard, so I can imagine that there was, you know, extensive hip, elbow, cherry eye, all that stuff weeded out in the
Yeah.
genetics. But maybe with Zeta, did you have any issues, or did you
I,
guys
you know,
get
I
lucky?
didn't have the cherry eye issue. She's got a little bit of a droop to both eyes, but it matches, you know. So I thought
Okay,
maybe that she might develop it. She
okay,
hasn't. You know, the biggest issues with her, she's one, we didn't do her ears, didn't do her tail.
hmm.
The breeder didn't
Oh,
believe
her
in.
tail wasn't done either.
No,
I
no.
guess I
Well,
didn't
and
realize
here's
that.
the thing: is I think the individuals that we got her from may have tried to do it the old-fashioned, cruel way.
Oh
And
no.
not really, I don't want to call them a breeder because they're not a breeder. It's just a couple who happens to have two dogs.
Okay.
But she has a bit of a tail deformity, about 4 to 5 inches from the base. That
Yeah.
me, when reading up on the breed, I found apparently a lot of people that do it the wrong way and are not very nice people will cable tie those tails with
Yeah.
ties or wire to try to get it
Mhm.
to die off on the end. And
Mhm.
I mentioned that to my vet, and the vet actually thinks that's a good possibility because it was very sensitive, very sore for a long time. But
Aw.
ultimately, she's got the full tail, the full ears, and the only issues we've had with her really, other than the fact that we were worried for a while about her lack of eating, was her ears. When she plays with other dogs, she really gets her ears are kind of a target for everybody. So she's had
Okay.
a lot of little punctures and holes, and then she continues to itch them. And so we've had to be good about keeping them clean and getting her on some antibiotic and things of that sort. I think I'm probably more than likely when we get her spayed, we'll probably also do the surgery that keeps the stomach from rotating. Uh,
Okay.
and just from everything I read and the vet we've talked to and different individuals, it sounds like clearly that's a risk for big barrel chested dogs like this. And when it
Mhm.
does happen, it's not, it's scary. So I'd like to just avoid it altogether after we get her spayed, or at the same time, just to sort of kill two birds with one stone, and more than likely do the same with him as he gets.
That makes sense. So you don't plan on breeding them then?
No, I don't think so. It's never been a plan from our perspective. I think Zeta's probably a little along the lines where she's not, the purest of pure breeds anyways, and I don't think she'd be a good target for that. And I don't, I want a good friend. I want an animal that's a great family dog. When we got Kai, because of where we got him from, and honestly, because of how he looks, he's such a beautiful dog that is getting a lot of attention. I still would not have considered it probably, except now the breeder is reaching back out to us and saying, hey, can you hold off on registering him? I'd like to talk to you about some things, because he really is an absolutely beautiful dog, and it might be he might be worthy of considering, whether it's show or breeding or what have you. But I still don't know how we feel about that. Like, I'm glad he's beautiful. I'm glad he's gorgeous, and he typifies what a lot of people want in the breed standard type of thing. But that's not. I just want him to be a great dog, and as long as he's beautiful and gorgeous and all of that stuff is relevant, I get the best of both worlds. So I mean, he is a really good looking dog, and I love his looks. But I'd rather focus on his personality and hope that that's what gets us where we need to go. The only reason I think I could imagine breeding him is at some point in the future, being able to have one of his offspring as our next family dog, if he's really that great. If personality and looks and all of those things, health, all work out well, how awesome would it be to have some sort of first right of a puppy at some point in the future? So we'll see. I'm going to talk to her. We'll see how it goes.
That's good. I'm so glad that you are. When we bred Guy and Zeus, we worked with our breeder as well, as a mentor to make sure that we did everything right and everything. And initially we had planned on breeding once, so that we can keep one puppy, because we just love Guy and Zeus so much that we wanted a piece of them just a little bit longer. Unfortunately, one day Guy and Zeus will not be with us, but maybe we'll have a baby for a little bit longer. Well, long story short, we ended up keeping 3 of their babies. We were only going to keep one.
So 5 of them are part of the same family. 3 pups. Okay.
Yes.
Cool,
so we did not do the ears on any of ours because, and I've had Dobermans, and we never did their ears either. I just love the floppy ears. It's just a personal thing. What I do is.
That's the right way to go about it, right? I love it. I love the fact that I've got one of each now, because I've got both worlds. I think technology and skill of the vet and all of the different things that come into play when you're doing it obviously have a lot to do with it. Kai hasn't, he could have cared less. He wasn't in pain. He wasn't hurting.
Very nice.
I knew clearly, coming from Castleguard with their recommendation, they had somebody who knew what they were doing.
Right, exactly.
As far as how to do the ears, etc. So, I know it's the natural way, and I know a lot of people have, are emotional both ways as to what had happened. I get a lot of people since, we've had him that are like saying stuff to us on social media.
How could you do that, or what have you?
Clearly they don't know a lot about the breed. They don't know a lot about everything else. And, I think they don't realize that it's a lot more humane than it maybe once was 20 years ago.
Right. I agree. For us, it's just a personal thing. We just love the big floppy ears. We've been fortunate enough that somebody is always home with them. So we've taught them how to play. So when I see them going rough at it, we can immediately stop it and say, no, this is not how we play. Well, so we haven't had any issues.
No, you're right. They have to learn how to play. And I think, again, as they get older, she'll slow down. But she's also, you'll notice in the pictures, she's also just got giant ears for
for Corso.
Her head hasn't grown into them all the way, but her ears seem to be a little bigger than a lot of the other kind of Corso ears I see. So
and so No breeding with Zeta, but maybe with Kai, you're going to work with your breeder, which is awesome. I
We'll talk to
recommend.
her. We're going to see what, I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't want to, I
Right.
don't have the time, in my opinion, to dedicate to it enough to be what I would consider.
Responsible
I wouldn't do
about
it if
it.
I was just going to do it half-assed.
Exactly.
I want to be very legit. I want to be above board on everything and take it very seriously.
Exactly.
Unless that's my, partial career, I just don't see me getting into it that way. But we'll see what she has to say, because I could see her wanting to take sort of that responsibility. But then again, what does that mean for how much time I get with my dog and everything else? So
I know. That is.
Without a doubt, we want to just have awesome family dogs and have a lot of time and fun and family time with them.
So I completely agree with you. If you're going to do it, make sure it's something that you're committed to, and working with someone to do it correctly, because it's not for the faint of heart, and it is very, very, very difficult in some ways, and also very rewarding. It
Yeah,
is very
I'm
rewarding,
sure
that I
it
will
can
say.
be. Yeah, well, I mean, I got a job. Other stuff going on, and really, our goal is we're dog people. We love our
Yeah.
dogs, and I want to just be hanging out with them and have them with us as long as possible. So
Yes, I agree. Well, and we're so lucky because we live in Colorado. And so this mindset, and I'm originally from Arizona. I've lived in Colorado for almost
okay.
16 years now, but originally from Arizona, growing up there, it's like your dog stays outside all day. Your dog coming inside was like never unheard of. So
Huh,
when we were talking about breaking all the rules and everything, like
yeah.
when my family comes to visit, they're like, "Why do you have 5 dogs inside? It's like having 5 elephants." And I'm like, "This is their house. If you don't like it, you can leave." You know,
Right.
like
No,
I
you're
have no
right.
problem.
It is a weird. I mean, there's definitely those dogs that I want them to sort of have their choice. Like if they want out and they want to hang out in the yard and sleep in the grass,
Totally.
relax, by all means. But when they're ready to
Yep.
come in, they're allowed to come in. When they
Yeah.
want to go out, they can ring the bell and they let us know. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, this is their house, just like you say,
Yeah.
from my perspective as well. So we do our best to try to keep it as orderly as possible and keep them as calm as possible when they're inside. And
Right.
as that happens,
Exactly.
sometimes it doesn't.
Well, and mine have learned that, like, they have their place. When we have guests over, we put them here, and then they have to be respectful. I mean, respectful. I think
Yeah,
that for both humans and canines, that's the equilibrium right there.
yeah, yeah.
It's just being respectful of each other's place, and mindful of each other's comfortability. When we have smaller kids over, I do have all the dogs go outside, just more so because I'm busy cooking or entertaining, so I'm not taking care
Well,
of,
well,
you know.
they don't realize, again, like we said earlier on, they don't realize how big they are. They think they're these little
Mhm.
lap dogs, and
Yes.
when Zeta wants to get from point A to point B, it doesn't matter what's between her. Those things
Oh,
are getting
yeah.
knocked out of the
Yeah,
way, uh,
totally, totally.
not intentionally, but
Hercules
it hurt someone. Yeah,
Yes, Hercules lays on my husband's chest as if he was still, I kid you not, if he's on the couch, he will come and he will lay on his chest, to
that's
where my husband is like, "Come help me out, Hercules, we'll get off."
that's funny. Now, I don't think I could handle 5. That's pretty impressive, I gotta say. But
Well,
um,
we're very lucky. We've got some acreage, so they have plenty of room to run around.
nice.
They have a doggy door, so they come in and out whenever they want. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, the only other question I had for you was kind of like a spur of the moment, last, top of your mind. Don't even think about it, just answer kind of question. So, and it is, what is your most favorite thing about Zeta and Kai? Go.
I think their quiet confidence, right? They're not
Ooh,
scared.
very
They're not
nice.
startled. They're super mellow and confident dogs, to where they don't have
Yes.
to be yippy or aggressive or anything of that sort. Yeah, I think they're a very quiet, confident dog. They're kind of like this. They realize they're big, and
Uh-huh.
or because they're big, they don't need to move quickly. They don't need to
Right.
be sketchy or all over the place, and they just kind of do their thing and are fine with it. So I like that. That would be I guess that's my first thing that popped into my head. Well, it's kind of what we were looking for, which made perfect sense. Is something that had a presence about it, but was confident and mellow, and was, the, what do you call it? I mean, I don't know, just the giant teddy bear in a lot of ways, to where they are very big and mellow.
Yeah.
And because of that, the mellowness offsets the appearance.
Yep. Yep.
And
That's true. Well, thank you again, Jason, so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
well,
Thank you so much
hopefully at
for
some
coming
point we
on.
can put them all together. I'll obviously I'll keep following.
Exactly.
It's been awesome talking to you. I enjoy it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you again, Jason. You guys have a good night.
What is the name of the kibble? Honey, what's the name of that kibble? Can you look at that bag?
But they listen to you. And I said, yes. And I mean, they do listen. They better listen to me. There's 5 of them,
Yeah,
There they go. There they go. They see a squirrel. Oh my gosh. When we were talking about the cat tendencies, so Gaia, when she sees birds on the deck here, she starts clapping her paws at them like a cat would.
Really?
Like, it's the weirdest thing, like trying to claw them.